Just a little thought about the numbering system here of the Chronological Bible that I'm making up as I go along. I mean, there's no order to. I read up to these divided. I mean, these header things, but like I mentioned in a previous video, I usually will read if one passage has the majority of one particular chapter, I'll read through that chapter, even if it means reading through a bunch of Psalms. So like I did recently here, I read, here's another example of what I'm talking about. I read Nehemiah 12. Notice the number there, 798. So I read through Nehemiah 12, and then I hit Psalm 147, so I read that. I had Psalm 148, 149. Actually, I don't think it goes back into Nehemiah 12. But then I ended it with Psalm 150, because then the next reading, which should have been 799, which it was, 799 is numbered here on YouTube. But like a dope, because I think I started the next day's reading with this one, or I don't remember how it was, but I wrote 499 for some dumb reason. So I've changed it back to 7. You can see a faint image of a 4 underneath there. So, okay, so I'm going to just show you. Then I read Nehemiah 13, and then over here's Nehemiah 13. And then I hit Psalm 119. Read all of Psalm 119 with that passage of Nehemiah 13. Okay, so Psalm 119 goes on for quite a number of pages on its own. And then when it was done with that, it hit Psalm 1. And so I read Psalm 1, and then we hit Nehemiah 13. So I continued on reading. And then up here is more Nehemiah 13, and down here is Nehemiah 13. So, you followed along with that reading. That took like 23 minutes. And then here's the conclusion of Nehemiah 13. So I carried on with my numbering system, which, as I'd mentioned, I thought was 499, so I go to 500. So I've been reading throughout here and merrily going along, writing in 500. I don't know why in the world. And I record this on my iPod, and I even say on my iPod, like, for example, the last reading I just did. Let me show you. And let you hear it through my headphones. I'm going to stick my headphone up next to the microphone. I'm going to push play here and let you hear through the microphone what I said as I began this one. 517. I hope you heard that. I said 517. So from about the 500 mark all the way up to 517 should have been, I'm actually into the 800s now. So it should have been 817. Oh my goodness. I'm actually halfway decent with numbers. I can remember numbers very well. I can remember numbers way better than I can remember folks' names. I remember people's phone numbers from when I was in high school. I can remember my phone number from when I was a kid. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe you can give it a try. It's 568-8250. When I was a kid and we lived in another town, I for some reason remember that number. But I can't remember people's names. So I like to make the joke with folks. I say, I do pretty well if I lived after the rapture. Calling people by their number. It's not really funny. But anyways, we're into the 800s here. So in a number of these thoughts videos I've been going, in the last couple of ones. You're now in part number 500 and something or other. It's like, oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so anyways. Let's carry on, will we, with part number 518. 818 coming up, wherever that is. Oh, yes, here. More numbers. The first 3 disciples. And we'll start with John 1:35. Confused.